friends, welcome back to Food Prep Guide. What if I told you that one simple ingredient sitting in your pantry could replace multiple canned goods, save you money on breakfast, and even help you make fresh yogurt at home? Today, I want to share 5 overlooked ways to use powdered milk that will help you meal prep and cook from scratch. Now, everyone knows you can reconstitute it with water to make milk, so we won't be discussing that today. I want to go beyond the obvious and hopefully inspire you with some new ideas. Most people have no idea how incredibly versatile this pantry staple can really be. You can use it to create your own cream of soup base that's healthier and cheaper than store-bought cans. You can meal prep quick breakfasts that don't have all those questionable ingredients found in store-bought alternatives. You can even use it to make fresh, creamy yogurt at home without any special equipment. I'll show you how. Let's get started. The first way to use powdered milk is to create your own cream of soup base mix. If you ever cook with cream of chicken, cream of mushroom, cream of celery, we certainly do, but the only problem is I don't love the ingredients in those canned versions and they just take up so much space. This master mix powder serves as a base for all of those cream of soups, and I have used it for years. It saves space, goodbye all those cans, saves money, and you can control exactly what goes into it. So here's what you will need to make it. You'll need 2 cups of whole milk powder, 3/4 cup of flour, a 1/4 cup of chicken broth powder, or whatever substitute you would like, 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of dried parsley, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon onion powder. Just mix all the dry ingredients together and store it in a quart jar until you're ready to use it. To make a quote-unquote can of cream of chicken soup, melt 2 tablespoons of butter in a pot, add a 1/3 cup of your master mix that you just made, and heat that for 1 minute until you have like this kind of pasty mixture form. And then add 1 1/4 cup of water. Whisk well and bring that to a boil, then lower it to a simmer and just cook until it thickens. This process typically takes anywhere between 5 to 7 minutes. To kind of make different variations, like for cream of mushroom, you would just mix it the same way, but add 1 tablespoon of either dehydrated or freeze-dried chopped mushrooms. For cream of celery, add 1 tablespoon of dehydrated or freeze-dried celery, and so on. You can really make pretty much anything you can imagine if you have this base mix on hand, plus a few dehydrated or freeze-dried vegetables on hand. This replaces all of those canned cream soups, which, like I said, it saves so much space, and we have the added bonus of knowing exactly what's in it. Now, before we move into idea number 2, I wanted to mention that powdered milk is one of the items we included in our free 1-year food storage plan because of its versatility, which you'll continue to see throughout this video. If you aren't familiar with our plan, it will help you gather a year's worth of shelf-stable food by grocery shopping normally with just a few extra items added each week. It's free, and if you would like it, please comment food storage in the comments below, and we will send it straight to you. Okay, idea number 2 for how to use powdered milk is to make homemade instant oatmeal packets. This is a quick breakfast that you can prep ahead of time in multiple jars, like mason jars is what we use, or even zip top baggies. And again, you know exactly what the ingredients are because you put them there. So first we need to make the instant oats from whole rolled oats. Of course, if you already have instant oats in your pantry, you can skip this step, but to save space, we only stock whole rolled oats and then process as needed to get whatever that we want. So to make instant oats, just run them through a food processor until you get that instant oatmeal consistency. It's broken down, it's borderline powdery, but not powdery. In fact, you want to be careful not to turn it into a powder, but we've all seen what instant oatmeal looks like, so you're just going to process it until you get that consistency. I like to do this in smaller batches at a time so that it will process evenly so I'm not left with half powder and half flakes. So for the base recipe, you'll use 5 cups of your processed instant oats, 1 cup of coconut sugar, although you can use any sugar substitute you prefer, 1 teaspoon of salt, and half a cup of powdered milk. Mix that all together, and then you'll divide that into individual pint jars, adding about 1 cup of base mix per jar. We're going to use a pint jar, even though we're only using 1 cup of the base mix because we need to add room for all the different flavorings that we'll add. And that's the fun part, making it unique and different flavor ideas. The sky is the limit here, but here are a few ideas. For a blueberries and cream version, you could add a 1/4 cup of dehydrated blueberries and a 1/4 cup of vanilla protein powder. We do this a lot, adding protein powder to our homemade mixes because it adds a really creamy flavor, plus the protein that tends to be lacking in a breakfast like this. You can make all sorts of variations, strawberries and cream. We do a pumpkin pie spice with pumpkin powder and pumpkin pie spice. You could do a berry blend with like different dried fruits, cranberries, raisins, anything freeze-dried or dehydrated. It really is just let your imagination run wild here. So to cook these up, dump 1 jar into a pot, add about 1.5 cups of water, bring it to a boil, then turn off the heat, put the lid on to trap that steam in there and let it sit for 5 minutes, and that's it. It's ready. These are so much better than store-bought packets and completely customizable. Okay, the next way to use powdered milk is in a make-ahead dinner roll mix. One of our family's favorite dinner rolls includes potatoes, but since we want to make this a dry mix, we're going to use instant potato flakes instead of mashed potatoes. Now, when meal prepping anything with yeast, I try to keep the yeast away from salt and sugar. There's no science behind that, I don't think. I just feel like it makes a difference in quality, so we'll layer these ingredients carefully. So start with 1 teaspoon of salt at the bottom of your jar and then 1 tablespoon of sugar. Next, add 3 tablespoons of your powdered milk. Sometimes I use buttermilk powder, but powdered milk works really good too. A buttermilk just kind of adds that slightly tangy buttermilk flavor. So either way, buttermilk powder or milk powder. Then add 3 cups of flour to help keep the yeast separated from the other ingredients. Add a 1/3 cup of instant potato flakes, and finally your yeast, which is 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast on top. Seal these up and you have grab-and-go dinner roll mix for whenever. To make the rolls, you can use your bread machine's dough cycle. Add 1 1/4 cup water, 1 egg, and 3 tablespoons of butter to the bread machine first, and then dump your jar mix in and just let the machine do its work. Of course, you can simply mix all of these ingredients by hand and knead the dough until it's nice and pliable. You don't have to have a bread machine to make this by any means. It doesn't change the ingredients at all. Just mix it and knead it by hand and try to work in 1 to 2 10-minute rises during that process. But once the dough is done, shape into 10 to 12 little balls and let them rise until doubled. Then bake at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 25 minutes or until they're done and a toothpick comes out nice and clean. These taste just like fresh homemade rolls, but come together with very little hands-on work if you have this pre-made mix on hand, and even easier if you have a bread machine. Okay, the 4th idea I have for you today is making yogurt from powdered milk. This is really great if you're storing powdered milk for your food storage, or if you just want to make yogurt without having fresh milk on hand. So to make about slightly less than a gallon of yogurt, we'll say in between 3/4 of a gallon to a gallon, you'll need 4 cups of powdered milk and 14 cups of water. Just whisk this together really well to reconstitute. Of course, you can make a smaller batch. If you don't eat yogurt that often or if you have a smaller family, just take those ratios that I just gave you and divide them accordingly. But bring this milk to a boil that you've now reconstituted with water. Bring it to a boil and then remove it from heat and let it cool down to between 85 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. This is important because if the temperature is too hot, it will kill the bacteria in your yogurt starter. But once it's cooled to that window of temperature, add about 1/4 cup of yogurt with live cultures, either bought from the store or some that you saved from a previous batch. You can also purchase dry cultures online. But mix your starter in really well and let it sit overnight. I like to use a thermal cooker for this because it maintains the temperature without any electricity. And I just get excellent, even, consistent results when using the thermal cooker. But you can also use your oven with just like the light on. By morning, you will have thick, creamy yogurt. So transfer it to the refrigerator at this point and chill for several hours before eating because it does not taste very good at room temperature. But once chilled, it tastes fantastic. And once you save starter from each batch, you won't have to buy yogurt again. Just be sure to save some from each previous batch and make another batch within about 2 weeks to have basically perpetual yogurt. Okay, the fifth and final way to use powdered milk is making cornbread muffin mix. This is one of our favorite quick side dishes, and prepping it in jars just makes it all the easier. All you do is simply layer your ingredients into pint-sized mason jars. The ingredients that I'm about to share all go in one jar, but I like to line up 5 to 6 jars, kind of assembly line style, and prep multiple side dishes at a time. We already have all the ingredients out, so why not? So to each jar, you'll add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt at the bottom, then 2/3 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of cornmeal, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of your powdered milk, and 1 tablespoon of baking powder on top. When you're ready to make the muffins, just dump 1 jar into a bowl and add 1 egg, a 1/3 cup water, and 2 tablespoons of melted butter. Mix it up and bake in muffin tins at 400 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes. And actually, they make butter powder now. So you could even put butter powder inside your jars and skip the melted butter stage 2. I haven't tried that yet, but I need to because I do have some powdered buttermilk or powdered butter on hand. I need to use it up. So this makes about 6 muffins and tastes very similar to the Jiffy Mix that you get from the store. But you can control the ingredients and you can customize it by adding shredded cheese, jalapenos, chives, or whatever sounds good to you at the time. So there you have it, 5 incredible ways to use powdered milk beyond just making regular milk. I hope you'll give one of these methods a try. I think you'll be amazed at how versatile powdered milk really is. Many of the recipes that I mentioned in this video are available in printable format on our blog, so those will be linked in the description box. Don't forget to comment food storage in the comments below if you would like the free 1-year food storage plan. That's all for today, and we'll see you next time. Bye!